Fans, welcome to episode 179 of the Working Fans Podcast. Today, I am joined by AJ Strangebrew, the man called Dave. How you guys doing today?
Hanging and banging, brother. Getting ready to talk a little 1986, but I know it's just a preview. I'm excited.
1986.
Actually, I took the 86 preview out of this because we are going to stick to 2023 predictions. We will maybe preview 86 a little bit. We had a little kerfuffle the other day on the Combat Cast, and a prior idea I had for this show, I kind of threw out. But we will be talking 1986 next week. This week,
luckily,
though,
we enjoy a good kerfuffle.
2023 predictions, and the wrestling news doesn't stop. This week, Vince McMahon inserted himself back into power, and Stephanie resigned.
Yeah.
What do you guys make of this?
Did you see there was a comment somebody said Vince finally did what he wanted to do in storyline. He fucked his daughter. Which I thought was like pretty funny.
I mean, when I saw her resigning, to me it made all the sense in the world, just from the standpoint of family wise. You don't want to get in the middle of that.
Oh yeah, I totally
like she's making her money, so why not just
but you also have to remember she was taking time off to distance herself from the WWE before this shit with Vince hit the fan. Yeah. So with Vince coming back, it's not surprising that she's distancing herself again. From the WWE.
What kind of life? I mean, you think about it. This girl's led too. She grew up in this business, right? With Vince as her dad. She's probably seen the good, the bad, the crazy. It's her father at the end of the day. But she's grown up. She's evolved. She's meeting different people. She's probably like, yeah, I love my dad, but holy shit. You know what I mean? She's probably got to be like, I got to get out of here. We made enough money, And
you also have to remember she's also known for doing a lot of mentorships with women, doing a lot of these side projects. And how do you do that on one foot and then have what happened with your father on the other foot, work under the same company and continue to go, oh, no, women, this is the right way to do things. Oh, unless you're working for my dad, and then we'll just pay you to go away if he fucks with you.
Yeah, it's crazy, but like this whole Vince thing, it's just so wild. And we got to do a prediction episode here later, right? We're supposed to try to fucking predict what's going to happen this year. Like there was rumors this company was going to be sold to Saudi Arabia. Still might be. We don't know that. And I got to tell you, like, who the wrestler of the year is going to be next year? Yeah, Moonsar, baby. Whatever that kid's name is.
Now, also this week, I saw that a leaked WrestleMania 39 card is out there. So we are going to go up and down this card.
Nice.
See which of these matches you guys think will happen, which are just total garbage. And first, Dave, you love that intro video. All right, so for this leaked WrestleMania card, they have WrestleMania as a 2-night event. Night 1, men's Money in the Bank match. Edge versus Matt Riddle versus Bobby Lashley versus Johnny Gargano versus Solo Sikoa versus Santos Escobar, Madcap Moss, LA Knight. That seems like a clusterfuck of a match, and you're just cramming a bunch of people on the show.
I don't think that's happening. But I mean, Money in the Bank was already announced for England. But again, as I said in the beginning, who really knows what's going to happen this year, right? So let's say that match did happen. Yeah, it's a clusterfuck. There's some names in there. I don't know why we need Madcap Moss, LA Knight. I like, but that's really not the match for him.
Even Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle right now has a very tense relationship with the WWE. We don't even know if he's coming back to the WWE.
Yeah, I really just don't even see this match happening. But I will tell you this: with a guy like Edge in there, Santos Escobar, like I'm sure they could make that work. You know.
My other question is this leaked thing? Yeah, it was leaked this week, but was it supposedly built before Vince returned? Was it? What's the time frame on when they were talking
the match
about this?
Vince would put together.
I just got this off Facebook. It doesn't give an exact time frame. Like for the Intercontinental Championship up next, it has Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre.
Fascinating. This is a strange. This would be I don't know. First off, Gunther would have to lose it right now. And hey, Vince is back. Gunther is killing it right now. I'm excited for his match with Braun Strowman tonight. They should tear it down. Like, if anyone's going to make a Braun match interesting, I think it'll be Gunther. But anyway.
Yeah. Now they've got the Women's Tag Team Championship, Damage Control versus Asuka and Kairi Sane.
That's not happening.
They're getting Kairi Sane back?
Kairi Sane back? It's ridiculous. Who came up with this?
This was on the
because Kairi Sane's in a sold-out match versus Sasha Banks coming up. So I find it hard to believe that she's coming back to the WWE.
What a coup! It must be a relationship they're working on. This wants to mend all fences.
I guess what I thought was interesting on this was they had for the WWE Championship night 1, Seth Rollins versus Cody, and then for the Universal Championship on night 2, they had Roman Reigns versus The Rock.
Sure, I mean all that.
So either Cody or Seth is winning the belt before WrestleMania. And only half of the belt?
Where they split the belt. This has been rumored for a while where they want to have 2 champions. I don't see it again until something happens. Right now you got Roman. Like, to me, you got Roman here who's looking like this unstoppable force. He's got both titles. I think he needs to have both titles going into WrestleMania. If anything, you book him 2 nights. But if you're trying to do a 2-night show, you want your biggest attraction, you would have Roman. I like Roman versus The Rock, and I like Roman versus the winner of the Rumble, maybe Cody. I think Roman goes over The Rock. Now, the awkward part about this is you don't really think The Rock's probably going to win the title, right? But it's a little weird to think we're going to do Rock and Roman night 1.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So here's my problem with the scenario. Not one single time has the WWE alluded to any title defense that Roman Reigns has had as this is for this belt, but not that belt.
No.
I find it hard to believe that all of a sudden, with no build whatsoever, with 3 months to go. Hey, by the way, Roman's going to start defending only one belt at a time.
That new internet.
Yeah, that is a good point. Now, guys,
wait a minute, can you guys not hear me?
We can hear you. You got a little choppy though.
I know we were just putting over your internet before we started, and then
yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Is it still getting choppy?
Not right now.
It's recovered a little bit, but 2023 predictions are what's not choppy. And let's go with male wrestler of the year. We'll start big. Who do you see as kind of running this year?
Okay, so I don't know how we're gonna fucking know anything. All right, because I'll just say it too. I want to throw like a wild prediction out there. I think WWE is sold, and I think they're gonna be sold after like WrestleMania. They might even announce it at WrestleMania. Is my guess. Not saying they'll be sold to Saudi Arabia. I don't know that. I don't want to believe that. And not even because like political reasons. I just feel like, what are we going to end up watching this on? Where, you know what I mean? Like, there's too many answers. I'd rather somebody like NBC or Fox buys it. Anyway, I want to answer your question, though. So going off that, let's say that it's going to be bought by a TV company or something. Let's try to be positive, right? I'm going to go with Cody will be the wrestler of the year because I think Cody Rhodes was the guy who's going to beat Roman Reigns eventually. I think the story writes itself. I've talked about that before. And I think he'll have a hell of a year. Probably eventually turning heel because I think once he wins the belt, the fans in WWE will eventually turn on him. and then Cody knows how to play a heel very well.
I even like that first promo that they've already run. I thought the first promo was fantastic for the return of Cody Rhodes.
And I want to just say too, just comment here, absolutely, JD Jenkins, it is a big fight feel, and that is always missing. And so, right, Roman Reigns, the unstoppable force, 2 championships against The Rock, the biggest name in Hollywood. Really hard to trump that. So again, maybe Cody or somebody else wins it after Mania. Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, if they're building for The Rock, how are they going to do that? Is he going to be a surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble? Is he?
Hey, here's an idea. Here's a wild idea too. How about this? How about The Rock buys WWE? I'm sure he's got money. How about The Rock buys WWE and he beats Roman for the title at Mania? I'm not saying he's going to hold it forever. And then we have Rock for a little while, and maybe he drops the belt to someone down the road. I'm just saying we don't know what's going to happen right now.
He did come up with all the money needed to buy the XFL.
Exactly. I'm sure he could buy WWE if he had to. He's one of the guys.
So between that and a Subway sub, I think it's basically the same price point, though, for the XFL.
And for me, I've got to go with, I think 2023 is going to be MJF's year. Mm-hmm. I think Tony is going to try to, I think he's going to keep the title on him, and he sees what's going on with Roman, and he's not going to try and copy it, but he's going to try and find a way to elevate MJF in his own way. Now, moving on from male wrestler of the year, who do you guys have for female wrestler of the year?
Currently, I'm going to stick with Bianca Belair. I think she's been killing it. And you know what? No. Be a little different. Jamie Hayter.
Jamie Hayter, fuck Bianca. Jamie Hayter, 100%.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I want to go Bianca. Jamie Hayter, she's on that come up right now.
Right.
So this would be, like Bianca's had like a year of being big. This would be Jamie's growing year. I'm gonna say Mercedes Moné though.
Oh,
so say what she does outside of the U.S. Well, I mean, it's in the U.S. because the Battle in the Valley is going to happen next month. And I think just between New Japan and Stardom, she is going to have a year that shows us the kind of success you could take that WWE name and go across the world.
I want to point out something real quick for Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter this week, when they were in Los Angeles, she's wrestling as a heel with Britt Baker. She was getting cheered far more than either one of her opponents, Toni Storm or Saraya, in Los Angeles this weekend. They kept cheering her throughout the whole match.
Yeah, she definitely got it. I kind of thought that it's kind of strange, but Saraya, coming back from the broken neck and everything, I think in some areas this has been fumbled a little bit with her. And I feel like, and then unless they're planning on putting her heel, then the way she brought Toni Storm into this with the slight on Sheeta, like they came off like heels. They come off like the ex-WWE girls and we're better than you. And then now we're supposed to believe Sheeta's the heel because Sheeta's thrown in the kendo stick like, oops. But I'm like, no, Sheeta got slight. It doesn't make any sense to me.
The problem with Saraya right now is she's coming in there and going, this is my house. That worked when you were the underdog in WWE going, this is my house. I'm coming up from NXT. I've worked hard to get here. She's coming now into a place where these women have worked their asses off to grow the wrestling and going, no, this is my house. I'm a bigger star than you. How is that babyface?
I don't understand it. Yeah, it's the one thing. The booking of this stuff has been weird. And even that line last week where Britt said, I'm the only boss around here. We had no intention of bringing Sasha Banks or Mercedes Moné in, so maybe we shouldn't even use that line.
Yeah, I that mystery partner, I didn't think anybody saw where that was going. I thought for sure it was going to be Saraya's mom. A lot of people thought Mercedes Moné. Toni Storm it is.
Guys, I want to throw something out there real quick because we were talking about male wrestler of the year. and we didn't talk about anybody. I mean, we talked about the big stars. The reaction that Adam Cole got this week, and the way he emotionally came swinging in there. You talk about somebody who's got the capabilities of having a huge year this year. Adam Cole could be that dark horse.
Okay, two things. I want to address this guy in the comments again because I'm loving all his takes so far. If Bianca Belair did turn heel, that would be fresh, and that could bring out another big year. I totally agree with that. JD, hit me up anytime. I love your takes on wrestling, brother.
Yeah.
Now, Adam Cole, great to see him back this week. There's a thing online, I don't know if AJ's seen it, Joe, I'm sure you have, where there's this old man getting held up by a gun, and he's like, call an ambulance, and then he pulls a gun out on the guy in his face. He goes, but not for me. And I felt like that's what Adam Cole's promo reminded me of at the end when he said, I got some bad news, but the bad news isn't for me. I thought that was a great way to turn it around. He was clearly emotional. I mean, hearing the story, I just thought, oh my God, this poor guy, what he went through. It'd be easy to see why he wouldn't want to come back. But I think
the best thing that he can also do is alienate himself from the rest of the elite.
Yeah, I think, although the elite are kind of being portrayed as baby faces now too, so we'll see where that all ends up.
Not to Dax not to Dax, they're not.
Well, you know what? Dax actually, if you hear that stuff too, Dax has said that the Bucks belong on the Mount Rushmore of tag teams at the same time too. So,
yeah, no, 100%.
Speaking of tag teams, let's move on to tag team of the year for 2023. And given the recent news that FTR is going to sit out until April, that they would have been my pick had that news not been out there, because that's a significant chunk of time. So with FTR out of the picture, who do you guys see tag team of the year 2023?
This one, AJ, real quick, because I want to say the fact that they're going to stay out to April is why I'm picking them as my future tag team of the year for 2023. Here's why. They're going to stay rested. They're going to come back, and I think whatever they do, whether it's go back to AEW and light it up, and they're going to win the AEW tag belts and probably win some more tag belts, or if things end up being in an okay state in WWE where Triple H is in creative control and maybe they're just owned by someone else, I think they'll tear it up there too, because we know Triple H is a fan of FTR. So whatever happens, and by the way, it's kind of hard to pick a tag team of the year this year because besides the FTR, Usos, and the Bucks, like I haven't seen they claim, but I think at some point, I don't know.
Lucha Brothers also.
Yeah, they're fine tag teams, but right. Yeah, we'll see.
I have a dark horse here because Joe brought us some information earlier. I'd like to throw Asuka and Kairi Sane in the mix there. I mean, when they come back together and they're challenging for the belts at WrestleMania, how could they go wrong?
Shout out to the History of Wrestling Facebook group.
Actually a Facebook page. I'm going to go with the Acclaimed. I feel like
continuing on.
They got their title late in 2022, and they're just going to continue heating it up in 2023. Now we're going to move from the team to the faction.
Wait a minute, just to be clear before we do this, so nobody's going with the Gun Club.
Hey, they could have a hell of a year as heels. They're legit. That's not a bad idea.
All right, so I'm going to pose this to you guys because you brought up something while I was thinking about MLW. So MLW, the Billington boys just debuted as the Bulldogs. Young in the game. A ton of potential, though we've seen little of them. Gun Club, young in the game, ton of potential. We've seen a ton of them. I think they're almost on equal footing. It's just the exposure you get. And I think the Guns will be good in like 5-6 years.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. We talked about this recently. I had the interview with oh God, I'm sorry, breaking out.
Waves and Curls.
Davon Dordan from Waves and Curls. Thank you. And if you listen to the interview, one of the things I said is what an interesting thing of timing is, and I always talk about this. I know, but like different ways. Like we saw me and AJ Waves and Curls against Private Party at Northeast Wrestling, and to me, they outshine Private Party in terms of character and presence. That's not a knock on Private Party. It's just Private Party worked with the Young Bucks in other places and got discovered and got put on AEW television.
I've seen Waves and Curls now like 6 times, and
they tear it up, and
they tear it up every single time.
Yeah.
They're absolutely incredible. They got the people dancing with them. They come out to freaking Whitney Houston, for Christ's sakes.
Right.
And
especially if Tony Khan is willing to pay for real music. Like, imagine that act on a national stage. I think it would do great.
I think it would do great, but I mean, I thought Private Party would do great. You know, they run that risk of when they go to AEW, like, kind of, I don't want to say blending in, but like a lot of acts that had previously stood out.
Well,
they run the risk of being lumped in with Matt Hardy, which is definitely a death nail in any career.
Let's go back to timing. So the timing of that was they were discovered sooner, and they were in AEW. What else is going on there? You're now in where everybody's trying to get in there. It's a new promotion. Everybody's fresh. Everybody's new. Somebody's got to be the fall guys. And now you've been around for a while, and they haven't really done anything to you. So you're kind of a stale act. So it works both ways. Now it's not such a great thing, right? Whereas Waves and Curls, Trayvon heals from the injury. They get back. Somebody discovers them, and they get put on AEW. Oh, maybe this was the right time to be discovered.
Yeah, and they have a great mixture of size and size difference, because they have the big guy and the smaller guy, and they've got a tremendous amount of charisma.
Go ahead, Joe.
Moving back to factions, who are you guys looking at as faction of the year in 2020?
Okay, so I want to take this one again. I'll say, and I think AJ's going to agree with me. This is where we differ a little bit. I think we're tired of factions. I'm kind of done with it. I will pick. Since we asked, I will continue with the bloodline, but at this rate, like, I'm just not really, like, I don't really like I don't know. There's just too many factions. I don't care about many of them. I would say the only ones that really stick out right now are the Bloodline and Blackpool Comic Club.
Which is a shame, because they had a great chance with a faction in AEW where they could have really made a difference. And no, I'm not talking about the Tully Blanchard one. I'm actually talking about Malachi Black's group. If they actually use them correctly, to me, that could be one hell of a faction. But they keep putting them on the back burner, which makes them look like they're second rate. And it makes people not want to either cheer for them or actually boo them.
Malachi Black, when he came in there feuding with Cody Rhodes, was about as hot as you could get for an act in AEW at that time.
Even what they've done with Julia Hart, what they've done, the whole faction could be fantastic. But we don't get it consistent enough, and they don't get TV the way that they should to build them up.
I mean, I would have said Death Triangle coming into this week. That's who I would have hoped for in 2023. But just the way they've got their foot on the gas with the Bloodline, and it's hitting every week. And soon enough, you're going to have Sammy break off of them, and you're going to have them lose one of their more popular members and not lose any love from the crowd. So that is going to be interesting. And I think they're going to be the one that we're going to have our eyes on all year.
The middle pay-per-view between WrestleMania and Royal Rumble WrestleMania Elimination Chamber is looking like it's going to be in Montreal, and it looks like it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn with all the talks about. If that happens, like, that's the in-between pay-per-view, but that's going to end up being like such a huge buzzworthy main event.
We haven't seen anything like that since Diesel versus Pierre Ouellet in freaking Montreal. But on the other hand, there's another faction that we don't talk about. Sheamus, Butch, and Ridge Holland are absolutely one of my favorite underdog factions. I love what the three of them do, and I love how smash mouth they are.
I like Imperium.
Yeah,
I like Imperium.
So we have some solid factions out there. The problem is none of them are going to get the playtime that the Bloodline's going to get.
And the thing is, going forward too, if Vince steps back into a creative position at any time, it could change everything. Because
here's another thing. We don't know what's going on with Uncle Howdy and frickin' Ray, and now frickin' Alexa Bliss.
Right.
Is that
Who's
going to
your
be
guess
another
who
faction? Is he going to?
Uncle Howdy is?
I think it's Bo Dallas.
Oh, it's definitely Bo Dallas. He
Yeah.
was backstage at all the events every time that this guy's going.
All right, I'm gonna throw a left field answer at you, and I've got Vincent, previously of the Kingdom.
I mean, it could be Vincent, but the build looks different than Vincent to me. It looks a little bit thicker, like one of the.
I didn't pre-write categories for us to guess today, but I've got a couple more off the top of my head. Let's go Company of the Year. Or not even Company of the Year, more enjoyable Company of the Year. Which do you think is going to be your favorite?
So hard
New
to
Year's
tell.
Eve hits this year.
Yeah. I'll go with AEW right now just because there's a little more certainty in AEW. WWE has the potential to do some really big stuff this year in terms of like their big events, but it's a lot of
also
stuff.
Got the most risk with that. Vince coming back and the possibility of a sale, even though the same people should, in theory, be in charge.
Yeah,
a sale changes things, and Vince being back definitely changes things. So I have to agree with you on AEW, although GCW is a close second for me.
They can tell you business as usual when a new company or investment group takes over a company, but it never ends up as business as usual. They always are going to want to make tweaks, change up little things. So it's hard to tell with WWE. I'm going to unfortunately have to stick with AEW like Dave. I do see big things for GCW again this year. It's just hard to put them at that level quite yet. But hey, I got my fingers crossed. Hey, maybe GCW will buy him out.
Okay. That's actually, let's talk about that. I would have asked that question anyway because I had a prediction for that too. Who do you guys see buying WWE?
I actually like the Rock idea. I like the Rock actually buying the WWE and going, this one's for my grandma. See, we beat that son of a bitch.
Joe, who you got?
The Rock is a good pick. It's, probably the, like the feel good pick that everybody could end up with.
I got two. I did
hear Eric Bischoff's putting together some investors.
I heard AEW right now in the cons. My guess.
That's the one I was going to mention. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Peacock.
Peacock. All right. Yeah. Tony Khan was a good one. Tony Shad Khan would be an interesting one. We would have the reverse effect all year. Then we'd have a Khan monopoly, especially if they hire Nick.
It would be like, Khan!
They did it. He wouldn't care. He did the fucking money. He didn't give a shit. But I'll throw a real name out there. Hey, the Khans could do it. They have the money. And I heard there's rumors they are actually looking into it. I'm sure.
It's just with Vince's ego. I know it's kind of come down to money, but he might look at it as a loss to sell to a competitor. I don't know if he could do that.
Not anymore. I mean, we've seen it with AEW. Like with Ted Turner, yeah, he fought that man. He played that. But when it came, that's because of his ego, right? He never talked about Bischoff. He hired Bischoff. It was always about Turner because of Vince's ego. Could it be this little guy from Minnesota is beating my ass? It's Ted Turner. And with AEW, he doesn't even acknowledge them half the time. He's like, maybe I'll give them some more talent. And then he fires, right? He legit did it. He didn't care. So, I mean, it makes no sense, but I want to throw one other name out there, Endeavor. Endeavor is the company that bought out UFC. They are apparently interested in this as well. They're one of the things. There's a lot of people involved in Endeavor. So it would be interesting to think that Dana White could be.
I would like to throw one more in there. There's an investment group called the WFP, the Working Fans Podcast. We throw some of that bread money towards Vince. We're already in Connecticut. We're already here in the neighborhood. Maybe we take over the WWE.
If they want to deliver some bread, I'll sell my root and buy theirs in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
This bread is sports entertainment, pal.
We'll make him a little trade there for some of that maple bread.
Keep your pro wrestling bread. I got entertainment bread.
Well, all right. That's about all I had for predictions for 2023. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about before we very briefly mention next week?
Two things. Two other predictions. AEW will land a TV deal for 2024. We'll hear about it this year. And I'll say, unless WWE ends up getting bought by the cons, then who knows? But I will say Ring of Honor will end up somewhere too. I know it's on the streaming platform now, Supercard of Honor, but I don't think it's going to stay there. I think Ring of Honor will be. I think Tony has ideas for it, and we'll see that at somewhere eventually.
So you're saying Ring of Honor is going to end up on TV?
I do. I think it'll end up on TV or streaming.
Okay.
I thought his first prediction that AEW would end up on TV was very strong.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I think they will too.
They got 2 TV.
No, I think they'll get a new TV deal. Like we'll see them continue to be on TNT, TBS, or something else even maybe.
I'm going to make a bold prediction for next week. Next week, we're going to do a show on 1986, and it's going to blow the frick. Wait a minute, we're not doing.
We're doing 86.
We're going to do 1986 next week, and we're going to blow it off the roof.
Hey, here's a thought for you if you want to be negative Nelly, too. AEW doesn't get a TV deal. WWE is sold to Saudi Arabia, which they do nothing with it in return.
Well, when you talk about AEW getting a TV deal, what do you mean?
I mean TV rights deal. They're up to renewal.
Okay.
If they don't renew,
they're going to renew their TV deal.
Right. If they don't get, their TV rights deal. TV rights deal. So if they don't renew their TV rights deal, then
there has been changes of power once again. And we've never heard this before, but there's been changes of power again in Warner TV.
Absolutely.
So we could end up getting screwed over twice by Warner Broadcasting.
It's very possible that this could be the last year of AEW on Turner, and it's very possible WWE could be sold by the Sun.
I feel like we've seen this somewhere before.
It's very possible. At which point, Impact will be the new biggest wrestling promotion in North America.
I can't think of a better note to go out on. So let's.
Where does that leave us? Where we go on our podcast? Everybody's gone. All right, bro.
Welcome to the Working Fans Podcast, where we now talk glue.
Well, next week we will talk 1986, but right now Vinny Berry is going to talk the Pro Wrestling Vault Volume 2.
Read about the Northern Wrestling Federation in the book presented by Russellville.com, The Pro Wrestling Vault Volume 2. Hear the story of Roger Ruffin, the man who trained Carl Anderson, the Monster Abyss, Jordan Clearwater, Chris Harris, and Jillian Hall.
Plus 45 other short stories including Jazz, Bobby Eaton, Kamala, Thunder Rosa, Mario Mancini, Scott Casey, PJ Black, Kerry Morton, Sal Renaro, Jeremiah Plunkett, Colby Carino, Bam Bam Malone, and many others.
Get your book today at Russellville.com. Russellville. It's where wrestling lives.